Special Agent Kubiak, front and center.
Yes, what is it?
We're sending you on a special mission. For this entire month of February, you and your co-host, Donald Kozinski, must review 4 different movies from the James Bond franchise. Now, do you think you can do that?
I don't know, it'll be a tough sell.
I understand, but I
But-
have... Yes?
But if you put your best people on it, anything can be done.
That's why I'm asking you...
With a good bit of British gumption.
Mm-hmm.
And some gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
And, something else. A gun. And a gun.
Fair enough. Well, for your first assignment, I'm sending you out to Jamaica in order to watch Dr. No.
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Oh, I think my second cousin twice removed has a summer home there.
Oh, excellent. Well, tally-ho.
When do I leave?
Immediately.
Immediately? All right. I'll go and get my passport. Just kidding. I have it on me at all times.
All right, off you
along
pop.
with my Glock.
Off you pop, tally-ho.
Tally-ho? Oh. And if I don't see you again, tell Miss Greenbody I love her.
I'll put a memo on it. Play the intro.
What the hell? These get worse and worse every time.
We really need to stop doing these on the spot sometimes.
I know. Oh man, just couldn't think of anything.
We try. We do try. We try,
guys. I'm going home to sleep with my wife.
You have a wife?
You remember that from Clue?
Oh yeah, that's right.
The guy who was supposed to be gay the whole time, and then he was like an undercover agent or whatever.
I forgot about that. Oh my god. Anyway, let's
yeah, we can get into this.
Let's dive.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know very much about this topic, but I'm game.
Well, thankfully, we watched the movie before doing this, so.
Yep.
Anyway.
Still don't quite know what was going on in it, but,
Well, we'll reach that point when we reach that point. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the General Geekery podcast. This is, of course...
Hey!
Mm-hmm. This is, of course, the podcast where we love to geek out about everything that we love to geek out about with no remorse.
No regrets.
And with all of the enthusiasm in the world.
Indeed.
And if you guys are wondering why I'm not going over the top with that as usual, I am currently recovering from the plague. So
The plague.
The plague.
The plague.
Thankfully, I was in fit enough condition to record today, so hallelujah! As always, I am your resident coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, streamer by night. I am Donald Kozinski. Joining me as always, my amazing co-host. She is the dice slinger extraordinaire, artiste magnificent, resident video game inept, and an expert that I go to whenever I need good ramen. She is Hannah Kubiak.
Hello.
I mean, you are a ramen connoisseur. I mean, you have said so before, so.
I'm not really a ramen connoisseur so much as I'm just a desperately hungry waif.
Understandable.
More dead than alive. Barely human.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first edition of James Bond Month. Now,
woo!
Indeed. Now, we're getting close to... Oh my god, what is it now? It's been about 60 years now, as of 2022, since the James Bond series first hit movie theaters. And with the 25th film having recently been released with Daniel Craig's final outing as James Bond, No Time to Die, I threw this out there as like a little bit of a questionnaire. I'm like, do we just want to review some James Bond films?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we're like, sure, go right ahead. Now, I've watched almost every James Bond film. Hannah, you said you only saw like a handful of them, right?
Yeah, I've seen Dr. No.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Casino Royale.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Goldfinger.
Of course.
I get them all mixed up though. And then there was at least one Pierce Brosnan one that I saw, but I don't remember which one it was.
We'll get to Pierce Brosnan when we get to Pierce Brosnan. So,
Yeah, we're not focusing on that right now.
Not today.
Focusing on each era individually, basically.
So we have taken we're looking at 4 different films in the James Bond history. We've chosen 4 films from 4 different eras of James Bond. Although we are not looking at either George Lazenby or Timothy Dalton, unfortunately, as much as I love those 2 actors. But we decided to take a look at 4 different films from 4 of like the most prolific Bonds. Starting, of course, with one Sean Connery. And
the thing that I mostly know him from actually is Hunt for Red October. And then I don't know if you've seen The Rock.
Yes, him and
that movie with him and Nick Cage try to break into Alcatraz.
I never thought that Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage would make for such an inspired pairing, but yet here we are.
It was pretty great. It was better than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was in a sort of a phase that I went through with one of my friend groups where we would watch Kafka, what are you doing? Where we would watch sort of like a themed movie.
Okay.
Each week, where we'd each bring one, and one time we did Nick Cage movies. So we all brought our favorite Nick Cage movie, and one of them was The Rock, and that was the one we decided to watch.
Note to self: must do Nicolas Cage month.
Not the bees!
Oh god, the Wicker Man remake. Oh.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. I want to watch that. What's it called? The Willy's Wonderland thing where he's at that fun house or whatever.
Oh, I can't remember.
And all of the puppets are trying to kill him.
Oh yeah.
That would be so cathartic, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, we'll reach
kind of like the way that Pierre LeFou is cathartic.
Well, we'll reach that.
Just watching a knockoff Goofy burn.
Oh my god. We'll reach Nick Cage when we reach Nick Cage, but
yeah.
On to Dr. No. Dr. No.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Dr. No was the very first James Bond film to be produced by Eon Productions, that originally debuted in 1962. It would be 1963 for us in the United States, but
yes,
it originally debuted in the UK in October of 1962.
Yeah.
And it was produced by Eon Productions, which was produced by a partnership between Harry Saltzman and Albert R. Broccoli.
Albert Broccoli.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love it. I don't think it was Albert, but wasn't one of the Broccolis involved in Casino Royale, like the Daniel Craig? I feel like they were, because I remember we watched Dr. No to prepare for this, and then we also watched Casino Royale like right after that, and I remember seeing another Broccoli in there.
We'll figure that out when we get to Casino Royale, because that's going to be another one that we're going to be talking about. But let's focus on Dr. No for right now. So
yeah, let's do it.
Even though canonically Dr. No is it's the first film for this,
Yep.
but originally based on the Ian Fleming novels, it's not the first novel in the James Bond not original novel series by Ian Fleming.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's like the seventh or the eighth.
Wait, let me see. I think it's this based off of okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know which order that it went in, but it wasn't the first book. I don't know why they did this movie first, but um
Well, I have info on that, but
you do?
yes,
You have
I actually have I have the Carfax on it, so we're okay
okay,
on
all
that.
right, bring it.
We're okay on that. So while I quickly look up the correct order of the novels, do you want to talk a little bit about Ian Fleming since you did some research on the original author?
Yeah, I did some research on Ian Fleming, who he has a really interesting biography actually. So he was born in 1908, and he was the son of a cat. My cat is here. He was not the son of a cat. Okay. He's the son of Valentine Fleming, a wealthy banker and MP, which is military police, basically, or maybe minister of parliament.
Okay.
I don't know, actually. I think it's minister of parliament. Cat. Anyway, an MP who died in action on the Western Front in May 1917. So I'm going to say something to do with the military, if that's what happened to him.
Okay.
Um, Fleming was recruited by Rear Admiral John Godfrey, the director of naval intelligence, to become his personal assistant. So Fleming joined the joined the organization in 1939, and his code name was 17F. And he worked with them throughout the war, World War II. He actually, while he was working for naval intelligence, he had an affair with Anne O'Neill, who was married to the third Baron O'Neill. um, so
Hmm.
he lives a racy life. He actually went in 1942. He went to Jamaica for a intelligence summit, and then he liked it so much there that he decided that when the war was over, he was going to go and live there. So
Thus the GoldenEye estate, right?
yeah, he built a house which he named Goldeneye, and it's not really certain exactly why he named it the house that, but he mentioned there was this wartime Operation Goldeneye, and then there was also a novel by, maybe it's not a novel. Yeah, it's a novel by somebody named Carson McCullers called Reflections in a Golden Eye, and which described sort of uh like U.S. British naval bases in the Caribbean. So I don't know. It's either that book or it's named after the Operation Golden Eye, which I think is a lot more interesting,
Right.
than just having it named after a book about naval bases. Operation Golden Eye.
And if I'm not...
And go on.
No, you were going to go on with something else, so...
Oh, yes.
I will hold my bubble.
So, Fleming, after the war, he was working for the Kemsley newspaper group, which is the newspaper group that owned the Sunday Times. And he was the foreign manager, which means that he oversaw the worldwide network of correspondence for the paper. And let me see, Charter. Who's Charter? Oh, so Anne O'Neill, he and Anne O'Neill, her name, she goes by her maiden name now, Charteris. They became engaged in 1951. I'm not sure what led to that, what happened to her marriage with the third Baron O'Neill, but yeah, they became engaged in 1951, and Fleming actually started writing his first book, Casino Royale, at the GoldenEye estate in Jamaica, and it was a project to distract himself from his forthcoming nuptials, according to Wikipedia. So, interesting. Be distracted from your upcoming nuptials as a thing you need to do. And I like there's a thing about like his description of his writing process, which I, as a writer, find very interesting. It says, I write for about 3 hours in the morning, and I do another hour's work between 6 and 7 in the evening. I never correct anything, and I never go back to see what I have written. By following my formula, you write 2,000 words a day. Which, yeah, you can write that much.
And if I'm not mistaken,
in about 4 hours.
If I'm not mistaken, he wrote all those novels while visiting the GoldenEye estate, if I'm not mistaken, because he always frequented his estate in Jamaica, and he was also living somewhere in London around the time, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Well, he was working for the newspaper group, but he also would go on holiday to Jamaica for 2 months every winter.
That would coincide with the release of the novels. By the way, I looked it up. Dr. No is the 6th novel.
Ah, okay. Yeah, and he let's see. And he basically the main thing that he said about the draft stages of the book, he said to a friend who later became his editor, he said, I really am thoroughly ashamed of it. After rifling through this muck, you will probably never speak to me again, but I have got to take that chance. Which is pretty typical for a writer. Be like, man, this thing that I've worked so hard on, it's just, it's rubbish. You know? So I feel that. And that's pretty much what I have about Ian Fleming. He just, he wrote, how many books did he write?
So, between the original release of the first book, Casino Royale, in 1953, to the most recent one being the short stories, Octopussy and the Living Daylights in 1966, which was released posthumously, because if I'm not mistaken, he died around like 1964, 1965-ish. He released at least one a year. He released a novel a year.
Wow, yeah.
So that's why I said whenever he took like the 2-month holiday to Jamaica, like I was like, yep, that coincides with like how many novels was released, because he released one a year up to his death.
Yeah.
Which is kind of insane, the more that I think about it.
Yeah, 2 months a year, just go away and write a bunch.
Well, with the method that you mentioned that he had, I'm like, yeah, I can definitely see that. That would also leave like a lot of time for either proofreading by editors or stuff like that. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that comes about just Ian Fleming. Now, in terms of this particular film, Dr. No, like I said, it's the 6th novel, chronologically, but how this film came about to become the first James Bond film is also kind of interesting. One of the 2 partners that would eventually form Ian Productions, Harry Saltzman, got a hold of the film the screening rights for the James Bond series, with
Yeah.
with the two sole exceptions being Casino Royale and Thunderball.
Okay.
Yep, Fleming sold him all the rights to the novels for a total of 50,000 U.S. American dollars in the late 50s, early 60s.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of money today. I don't know how inflation works, so I'm sorry, everybody. Um, so also the other producer Albert Broccoli was introduced to Saltzman through a screenwriter, Wolf Mankiewicz. Broccoli wanted to attempt to buy the rights from Saltzman. Saltzman didn't want to sell, so instead they formed a partnership in order to produce the films.
Yeah.
So they eventually got authorization from United Artists in order to produce the film. And Dr. No, if I'm not mistaken, was not the first novel that they wanted to produce. They originally wanted to produce as the first film. They wanted to produce Thunderball first.
Which is one that I've never. I've actually never heard of it. It says it's the 9th book,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. Oh, the cover of the book looks cool.
Yeah, Thunderball. They originally wanted to make first. Unfortunately, at the time, there was a legal dispute going on between Ian Fleming and the screenplay's co-author Kevin McClory over Thunderball, so they weren't able to really do anything with it. So they chose Dr. No instead.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess we can talk about like impressions of the movie in a little bit, but
yeah, so that's what led to the deciding of like how Dr. No was chosen as the first Bond film. Now that we've gotten all that homework done, everybody, thank you for dealing with us. Let's talk about the movie itself.
all right.
So, right from the get-go, right at the beginning, like you get the traditional Bond motifs that start off and everything. The gun barrel opening sequence, the amazing 007 theme, you know, the da da
Yep.
da 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 da. I'm probably butchering it. Such a great theme.
Yeah.
But
The sort of inciting incident of this movie was this station chief of MI6 in Jamaica. He and his secretary were killed by some assassins. And the head of MI6 assigns James Bond to investigate it. And to sort of see if it's connected to this case involving this like radio jam that keeps on happening to disrupt rocket launches from Cape Canaveral, which was very complicated to me. I was sort of like, I didn't quite know what he was investigating most of it. I was like, okay, so he's looking for John Strangways, who is this station chief, or looking for why he was murdered.
Yep. So
and then it has to do with rockets being launched and they're being disrupted somehow, not able to launch.
Well, it's kind of funny because around the time that the film was being produced, there was word that rocket testing at Cape Canaveral in United States was experiencing difficulties. So I think they used that as like cover basis for like part of the film's plot. I think that's how that came about, actually.
Yeah. Ah.
So basically,
yeah, and
so basically, the entire purpose of like Dr. No using radiation is that they were going to use the power of radiation in order to disrupt this tested space launch in order to demonstrate the power of the organization that he was a part of, which he reveals in this movie to be Spectre, which is kind of hilarious because the organization Spectre in the original novels is not revealed until the novel that I originally mentioned before, Thunderball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what does Spectre stand for again? Stands for something.
I actually have the acronym right here. Right in front of me. Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, Extortion. As Dr. No has described it, the four great pillar stones of power.
There's one of the Daniel Craig movies is called Spectre, isn't it?
Yep, that was their version of like rebooting Spectre into the new era of James Bond.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Another James Bond movie that I've seen is the oh gosh. I don't remember which one it was. It was the one with what's his name? Ah!
Roger Moore?
I should have No.
Pierce Brosnan?
No. The guy who I could easily look this up. He was in No Country for Old Men.
Oh, you're thinking of Skyfall then. Because you're thinking
Oh, am I?
Yeah, because you're thinking of Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem, yeah. I saw that one.
As soon as you said No Country for Old Men, I'm like, okay, it's Skyfall.
Yeah, and yeah, Javier Bardem. Yeah, he was he's in Dune as well. Like I didn't even recognize him because he looked like a normal person in Dune, and I'm used to seeing him.
Couldn't even recognize him.
No, I didn't. I didn't recognize him. I like watched the whole movie, and I was like, "Hey, Javier Bardem was in this. I don't know who was he? Who was he?" So actors, man, they can become different people.
Indeed. So yeah, Bond is sent to Jamaica, where we have to figure out he has to figure out what happened to the MI6 station there, who killed Strangways, and uncover anything going along it. Along the way, we are met with CIA agent Felix Leiter, who was another prominent character in the James Bond mythos.
Yeah,
and eventually, this leads us to Dr. No's lair on Crab Key.
Right.
Where Bond and his partner at the time, Quarrel,
right,
encounter a random seashell fisherman, Honey Rider. And well, she has a longer first name, but it's Honey Rider for short. So, but yeah, they try to evade Dr. No's forces on the island in order to escape. Unfortunately, Quarrel is lost in the crossfire to a gigantic metal fire-breathing dragon, and yeah, and then they're captured.
Yep, they are tested for radiation and cleaned for radiation.
I mean, thankfully they cleaned them off for radiation. At least they were kind enough to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a matter for when. Yeah, see, I don't even know. Does radioactive material, like if you're radioactive, can you make someone else radioactive, or is it just you? Like, does the radiation? This shows how much I know.
Hannah, we're actors, not nuclear physicists. This is way beyond our pay grade.
So yeah, if you get exposed to radiation, and then someone else gets exposed to you, they don't necessarily get all get all the the sores and growths and skin cancer and die. Because it has to do with being exposed to radiation.
Like I said, we're not experts on it. It's best
Yeah,
it's best
yeah.
it's best
I don't
not to
know.
dwell on what we don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know. Let me know in the comments how stupid I sound.
Comments, let us know. Let us know, please. If you are
Uh-huh.
if you know something about mutations or nuclear stuff and everything like that, please let us know.
Yep.
Help us ignorant people.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but overall, it's a great introductory film for the character for the series. I always view it as like one of the like in the upper echelon of like the James Bond series. So I have a good time with it.
Yeah. It has a pretty creepy villain in Dr. No.
Metal,
Because he was exposed to radiation, he has prosthetic hands made of metal. Um
which they never go in.
and
They never go into detail. If the hands were, they never go into detail if the hands were destroyed, if the hands are actually metal, and if they're actually metal, like how do the nerves work? Because I don't think prosthetics really advanced to that state in the 60s.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I suppose if you sort of attach different things to different tendons that move the different fingers, but that's pretty involved and you couldn't take the prosthetic off then. I don't understand how it works.
Science.
Yeah, yep. Science. But yeah, I wish we could have seen a little bit more of Dr. No, because he actually only had a couple of scenes. There was like the creepy sort of, and now I'm going to tell you my whole plan. There was that.
Yeah, it was mainly.
And then there was him actually, and then there was him actually executing the plan, and then James Bond coming in disguised as a worker in a rad suit.
Yep.
And I mean a radiation suit, not a rad suit.
Right.
Rad.
It's yeah, it was definitely they haven't figured out like the formula of like how to best like pace the films.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they really hit that formula until Goldfinger, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like the foundation is still there. I mean, Dr. No makes for a very compelling mastermind, like for what little screen time that he has on screen.
Yeah.
Like the dinner
I mean,
table.
I thought he was creepy.
Yeah, the dinner table scene is tense, like absolutely tense. But in retrospect, like it was where the Bond film series took place. I mean, everything started here. The iconic Bond, James Bond line that Sean Connery delivered at the beginning. You want to know something? The take that they actually did with that, he was actually drunk. I actually...
Oh, man.
I actually had to go back and look this up. I was laughing when I figured this out. So, in the scene where we're introduced to James Bond, where he's playing baccarat at a hotel, and the woman he's playing across Sylvia Trench. Apparently, he kept flubbing up the line of James Bond, because he didn't really know how to deliver it. Sylvia Trench's actress, Eunice Gayson, was familiar with Sean Connery, so she took him out for a couple of drinks, and then when they came back to do the scene, like it just clicked for him. He became suave, sophisticated. I'm like, that is such a story that I can actually believe it.
Yeah.
And apparently Sylvia Trench was supposed to be playing like a more important role in the Bond universe for someone for him to come back to and always like interact with, because she appears again in the next movie From Russia with Love, and then she's never shown again.
Oh. That's weird.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back in the rest of the Bond films to figure it out, but I think this is the only Bond film by Ian Productions where they accurately show Bond playing Baccarat, which was his preferred
Right.
game of chance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I didn't know that. Hmm.
Well, there you go. That now
There you have it.
the more you know.
Yeah, yeah, like, well, what are your thoughts on like they sort of some people mostly well some people find the the way that women are portrayed in these movies to be like objectionable. Like,
The
what do
Bond
you
girl trope.
the Bond girl trope? Yeah, what do you have to say about the Bond girl trope?
I mean, it's really it's kind of a double-edged sword because Bond girl
Mm-hmm.
traditionally can mean like a several amount of different things. I mean, there have been Bond girls
Mm-hmm.
who have been more femme fatale than damsel in distress. So
Right.
it's really hard to say. I mean, for this kind of genre, yes. I mean, the objectivity kind of overstays its welcome well into like the Roger Moore era. So I can
Mm-hmm.
definitely see where that comes from.
Yeah.
But at the same time, several of these women use that to their advantage because some of them are also in the business of espionage as well.
Yep, and it can be a very useful tool. Your like um your feminine wiles as they call it,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Like
Like
so,
that can be distracting, and when people see you as kind of just a piece of ass, you know, you can get away with a lot espionage wise. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like if you've got it, use it to your advantage.
I mean, it all comes with context in this.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
while I do agree that more often than not, it most of the time, a lot of it can be for eye candy purposes,
Mm-hmm.
but more often than not, a lot of Bond girls get a lot of love from different Bond fans and critics and stuff like that because of how they are. I mean, I've mentioned
Mm-hmm.
to you before, one of my favorite ones comes from Casino Royale.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, we'll get to Vesper when we get to her.
Uh-huh.
Love her. But, I mean, it kind of shows it that way because it's also kind of like how, it's also kind of a representation of like how Bond's mindset is. Like, honestly, I feel like a good portion of like all of the movies we see the world like how Bond sees the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like looking through a character perspective mainly.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I view it.
Oh. Did you know that Cary Grant was considered for the role of James Bond?
I can actually believe that. I actually can believe that.
Yeah. Apparently they wanted to make a series, but he was only committed to one feature film, basically. And they were like, we'd like to do a series. I don't know what he was doing in 1952. 1952?
I have no
Is that
idea
when this came
either.
out? No, 62. This came out in 62. Ah!
I have no idea.
I don't know what.
It's weird. Really, really weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I can see Cary Grant as James Bond as well. Oh, you know, Charade came out in 1963.
That may be why.
I don't know if you've seen Charade, but that's probably one of my favorites.
I feel like I've seen that a long time ago.
Yeah, it's him and Audrey Hepburn.
Ah, that'll do it.
Hmm.
But
yeah, basically he's this guy who she meets shortly before she gets caught up in this sort of, there are these three guys who are chasing her because they want some money that her dead husband had stolen from them, and they think she has the money, but she doesn't. And it's about trying to figure out where the money is so that they won't kill her. And Cary Grant is kind of the he's kind of the, sort of dashing kind of love interest, like debonair and funny kind of person. So
which is kind of funny because when if I'm not mistaken, when Ian Fleming originally was introduced that Sean Connery was going to be James Bond, he did not have a very high opinion of Sean Connery in the role.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you look back all these years later, and everybody's like, I can't imagine anyone else other than Sean Connery being the first James Bond.
Yeah.
Because he's so intrinsically linked.
Yeah.
And all of it stemmed originally from this film. So, I mean, what can I say? That's Scotsman in his prime. He is a handsome devil. What can I say?
Oh, a handsome devil.
Handsome devil indeed. You know, Sean Connery almost came back for Skyfall.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I don't mean to pry away from Dr. No, listeners. But originally, rumors stated that. Do you remember in the third act of Skyfall when Bond and M go to Skyfall?
Yeah.
In order to run away from Javier Bardem, and they meet the game master there. That character was originally possibly going to be played by Sean Connery.
Oh wow.
Could you imagine that?
I really love it when, some people think it's kind of corny, but I really love it when they like bring back actors for like reboots or sequels or something,
It would have made sense.
I love that in the most recent Star Trek movies that they brought Leonard Nimoy in. I enjoyed that.
That was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me if they'd done. It was the movie was technically the 50th anniversary, so why not?
Oh wow.
But yeah, everything that the film franchise has spawned from, originally came from this film. For me, Dr. No, if it's in my top 10, it's near the bottom of the top 10 though.
Yeah.
See,
I would say that I think it might be just because I don't really know why, but when we watched this movie, I was kind of like, it was okay. I wasn't blown away or anything.
Right. They were still trying they were trying to figure out how to pace it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was less impressed than I had thought I would be, basically.
Well, you compare Dr. No to another one of Sean Connery's movies, probably his most famous turn as Bond. You compare it to Goldfinger.
Right.
And and Goldfinger was so enthralling and so well paced.
Right. Yeah.
There's a reason why people whenever they say that Connery's best film, whenever people say their favorite Sean Connery film or his most iconic, it would be Goldfinger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I personally would say that From Russia with Love and Thunderball I love a little bit more than Goldfinger, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Now part of me wishes we had watched that one.
It's okay. It makes for a nice comparison compared to how that started and how the new era of Bond started, which we will get to next time. Because oh man, when we get to talk about Casino Royale, I'm gonna talk some ears off. I can already tell.
Yeah. Oh man, and I'm looking forward to listening to what you have to say, because this is your choice of topic. This is your shtick. I am along for the ride.
So, any final thoughts about Dr. No before we close this off?
No, I think I'm good to go.
Alrighty then. Well, if you guys want to watch Dr. No yourself, it is available for streaming on Amazon Prime that you guys can either rent or buy in order to be able to watch it. Or you can do what I am currently attempting to do and try to get the entire James Bond collection on DVD or Blu-ray. It's a little pricey trying to get 25 films all together, but it is possible. So definitely go check these films out. There are some great moments. There are some bad ones. But you know what? You got to take the good with the bad sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And next time, we will be talking about Casino Royale from the Daniel Craig series. I am so excited!
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, before we sign off, though, thank you guys so much for listening in. This has been episode 105 of the General Geekery Podcast.
Holy crap.
I know, 105, 105, 105. If you guys want to follow us in everything that we do, make sure to follow us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the tags that we have in the description of this episode. If you guys want to rewatch or re-listen to all of the episodes of General Geekery from the very beginning, I have the full playlist available for you guys on YouTube. The YouTube link will be in the description of this episode as well. Definitely go check them out. If you guys want to support the show in any way, shape, or form, you can click the links down below to either our Patreon page or our Ko-fi page in order to help support us and can help us continue doing what we do. If you want to follow Hannah, you can check her out on Instagram at Pythian Legume. You can check me out on social media at RyuzakiMK7. You can also check us out on Twitch at my personal Twitch at RyuzakiMK7. And on Loaded Dice Adventures, where we play some D&D with some awesome people from our area of the world. And other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Except, I just remembered, if you guys want to join us in all of our geekery, make sure to join us on our Discord. We had a link for the Discord in the description of this episode for the General Geekery Guild. Come on by and join in on all of the geekery fun.
Yep.
Until next time, guys, for Hannah Kubiak, I'm Donald Kaczynski. And until next time, guys, keep your Walthers at the ready. Have your martini shaken, not stirred. And always remember to keep your geek
like
on.
I give a damn.
That's next time, damn it.
I know.
Until next time, guys, always remember to keep your geek on.
Always.
Clink, clink. Wait, hold on.
A water bottle and just a random.
I have my coffee.
Random.
I have my coffee mug and
a random cup.
I have my coffee mug and a quarter.
All right.
I've got my coffee mug and a quarter.
Man.
It's a clink. It works.
Clink, clink.
We did the clink, clink. It works. Bye, guys.
Woo! Bye.